safe to say then this was not part of your plan.
No, but I didn't have a plan. Like, it started out with fuel screws on LM106 Hiluxes.
Yeah,
like
right.
that's literally like where it starts. There is no way of actually fully understanding the depth of the changes you're making. It might share an injection pump off another vehicle and they know that they're good for so much pressure and you can use it in this way and so on.
The Outer Side is proudly supported by Tyre Gear. Head to www.tyregear.com to explore the wide range of high-quality camping essentials, including guy ropes, screw-in tent pegs, tie-downs, and heaps more. Tyre Gear. Adventure secured. Dog and Gun Coffee. Check out www.dogandguncoffee.com to grab yourself some bloody good coffee ready for adventure.
G'day and welcome to The Outer Side. I'm Tony, and in this episode I'm joined by Hayden Klaassen, the owner of HD Automotive. Welcome to the show, mate.
Good to see you, Tony.
Thank you for providing this lovely location, which we'll keep a secret, but it's not where it looks like.
Definitely not. I think it's one of those places that if you were in a different country, you would really appreciate it. You know, when you go overseas and you're like, look at that, that's so cool.
Yeah,
like,
and here we just drive past and go, yeah, whatever.
We just drive past it every day. And
We're going to start with the fast five. I'm going to ask 5 questions. You answer with the first thing that comes to mind. What is your dream car?
Lamborghini Aventador in the same colour they had in that Top Gear episode where they did the 3 Italian supercars in that ring.
I absolutely agree with you. Lamborghini Aventador is at the top of the tree. It's just like raw, hey? Like,
It's one of the last Lambos where it was still stupid. I hear they're bad to drive. Good.
is that like, would you want one of the LPs? Like, because they had like the LP 760s or something, like the real over-the-top ones.
The early ones are still, like, they're old cars now. They're 10 to 15 years old. So they feel like it. Like, the steering wheel looks old. The dashboard is old. Looks old. And then the new ones, like up to 2019, I think they stopped making them in 2020. They updated a lot of like the steering wheel design and infotainment and dashboard and things like that. So it feels more like the Hurricanes, for example, which is just an overall really nice car.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like if you're going to own one of those, you need it to be like a bit raw and a bit like unrefined. Isn't that part of the appeal?
Yeah. Those videos you see on the internet where people are pulling those big shifts on them, like bang, and like they like jerk forward, jerk back. Yeah. Whatever's causing that, I want it.
Yeah.
I don't want your smooth shifts.
No.
I want the fear that this may never...
It's got to be visceral, right? It's got to be an experience. Favorite band or music artist?
Oh, man, that's a hard one, actually. Overall, if I had to just like throw it at one, probably, definitely some sort of hip hop. Probably, yeah, man, that's a really hard one.
Yeah, well...
Band going back to like what I grew up on, like Arctic Monkeys and things like that.
Oh, yeah?
They just like had the most consistent presence throughout my life. But then, yeah, like just any sort of like, any sort of hip hop. Like as in the States, I can't remember whether I like East Coast or West Coast. Someone was telling me the difference.
But like 90s gangster rap?
Yeah, 90s gangster rap,
all right,
100%.
I'm all about it.
90s gangster rap's definitely up there.
All right, something a little bit closer to your wheelhouse. What is the first mod you would do to a stock 4-wheel drive?
Always power. I always go for power first.
I love that.
Always power. More of it.
It fits with your business. You get a free plane ticket to anywhere in the world. Where are you going?
I'm going to go check out Switzerland.
Have you been there?
No. I've been in Japan.
Is that your heritage?
No, I've Dutch heritage.
Ah, okay. Switzerland looks... You know how you were saying, like, when you're in another country and you stop and look at things? That's like the whole country of Switzerland in my mind. I've never been there, but I just think it's like one of the most picturesque places based on what I've seen. Like everything's a postcard, right?
But then I also wonder why, like, more people just don't live there. I know it's not that easy. You can't just go and
live there,
buy a house and live there. But then it's also not like wildly populated. There must be a reason for that.
Okay, I know nothing about Switzerland, but the perception of it is it's like very controlled, very orderly, like everything's...
Get in line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anyone out there, I don't know if I've got any Swiss listeners, but if so, tell us where we've gone wrong.
Well, Scandinavian countries. That's what I know a little bit about those, and there's a, I think that I can't remember the saying, but I remember hearing a saying about something about like your best off in the middle. You know what I mean? Like everything is about being like just average.
Yeah, you don't want to be an outlier.
Yeah.
What would you eat for your last meal?
Steak.
What sort of steak?
I feel it like just a really nice, thick 200, 300 gram. I feel it.
So not a sausage roll from Brumby's. It's a tough one, I know.
You know what I mean?
Very good, mate. All right, so let's get into the serious stuff. So you own HD Auto. How long have you been in business for with that business?
Started it in 2019.
Okay.
I was doing it from home, not under any name for about 2 years prior, so 2017 really, but kicked off legitimately in 2019.
And what did the business start out as? Is it what you're doing now, or was it a bit different?
It started out as a university side project that I was doing while studying. I was wrecking out Hiluxes in my driveway, and I was doing this crazy thing where if you bought a part off me on Marketplace and you didn't come and pick it up, I would actually send it, and it would be in good condition when it arrived. Crazy, right?
Unbelievable.
It's very difficult to do, but and then suddenly a few people started to like come up and say, if you're going to sell it to me, can you fit it? And I'm like, I'm not a mechanic, but if you want me to, I'm sure I can do it. And then people were okay with that, and suddenly I had a ring of cars, around my house that I was either wrecking or repairing, and I'm like, this is not for Morningside, which is a suburb you definitely shouldn't be wrecking cars in.
Yep.
In Brisbane here. So I made a error on a job that I did for someone. And I started calling around needing help. I was out of my depth on something. And some people recommended me. I had a chat to someone who was a mechanic. That mechanic started coming to help me. So I had like someone with experience, and then we started a shop. Mm-hmm. Once we had a building, we needed a name. Then we took some of that wrecking, combined it with repairing, and then
yeah, right.
I was into performance like before any of this. Like the first modifications I always did to my own cars was always like a new manifold, try a different turbo, intercool it, see how it goes better. I started asking like local performance shops if they could help me with what I had at the time, which was a Toyota Hilux Surf that I had solid axle swapped, and had a few people just say, nah, can't help you.
Oh, really?
Just straight up, no answers, can't help you, we don't do that. And fair enough. I get it now, like I'm in business and it's an oddball thing, so why would you bother? But that obviously gave me the drive to start trying things myself. So I would start to engage people I knew who were like capable and experienced to like, produce a component. Like, can you make me a manifold? Or because my skills are not in, I don't have like a 4-year-long mechanical trade or anything like that. I've just picked up what I can do over the years. And then it just snowballed from there until now. It's pretty much just most of the time it's very quick delivered, high quality performance parts that you can rely on and are packaged up in a way that you can depend on the results. So that's
Well, as I said to you this morning, you definitely lead the pack in terms of delivery, because I have a habit of breaking things and you have a habit of shipping them to me really fast when I order them. So I think it's such a simple thing, right? Like, someone orders something, we're going to ship it to them really fast and we're going to communicate.
Yeah.
It's like just business basics, right? But you guys do that really well, and I think that's a big part of your success.
Thank you, I appreciate that. It is so simple, but there are so many things in the way of making that simple thing happen. Like to be able to like build a team that's committed to actually delivering on those results and like sharing your goal with you. Like that's probably one of the hardest parts of all, is like is just the people. Like this day and age, it's very hard to find skilled, high quality, high trained staff, and especially in the automotive industry, if you're going to rely on people like skilled technicians and fabricators and things like that, it's just uniquely difficult. I feel like more now than ever to find those people. So when I sort of knew this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life and really like build up into that, I knew there was no chance I was going to like keep like having like great mechanics and keep having great fabricators, like just constantly grow that way. So being able to have like a team that may not necessarily come from like a skilled background, but just like a highly motivated, highly driven, just the energy like that they can share in that building with you, to see the vision and act on that every single day like it's day one. Like every day we arrive feels like day one.
That's pretty cool, eh? And I think like, in my day job, I manage people, and I would agree that people are the hardest part. But, you can teach skills, but you can't necessarily teach passion or enthusiasm, right?
No, it definitely starts. You have to show up with it.
Yeah.
You can't like force people to be excited about what you're excited about. You can't force people to see what you can see. You can't force people to understand where you're coming from. A lot of the time, like a lot of people will see it the way they see it. But if you can really start to like prove what you're doing, like and how it works and what your goal is, and they feel like there's a need for that in their own life, they can start to understand like what you're actually trying to achieve.
Well, then they buy into it, right?
100%.
So yeah, it's so funny because it sounds so simple when you say it like that, but then the reality of it is quite different, right?
Yeah, go and do it. It's like I think about it all the time. Like people, it's not like people are lining up to ask me this, but when people talk to me about like, what we do,
yeah,
I'm like tell all. Like this is how we did it. This is where we started from. This is who we work with. Like it's all there.
Yeah.
You can just look at the brands we sell, the brands we work with. You can just see it. It's no secret.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like we're a forward-facing company. Like this is what we have. It's what we provide. So we're very vulnerable in the sense of like, well, just go and do it yourself then. But it's like Top Gear. Just 3 guys filming cars.
Yeah, it's simple, right?
Just go do it.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Just go find those 3 people.
With like the BBC behind it.
Just go find those 3 people, get some cars, and do it. It's not that easy, is it?
Well, I think that was proven with when the original 3 left and they tried to recreate it, and we'll just change the people.
Yep.
Not quite the same, is it?
Definitely not. So it's the people like that we actually have there. Like without those people, everything I say is invalid.
Mm.
You know, without those people that care the way they do and share the vision I have, and commit to that idea every single day. Like when we have new people start, like it takes them a while to understand. They look at me like I'm insane, that like 100%. And then eventually I'll hear like one of our guys, Matt, said this to me. He goes, every time you do something, like if it didn't work, this would be insanity. Like this is the definition of insanity. Like we'll constantly rearrange, constantly change something internally so it works better. Constantly. Just like, but we fixed that last week, but now we're fixing it better.
Yep.
If it didn't work, it'd be the definition of insanity.
Yeah, but it does work.
It's always improving.
Yeah, and I think there's something really to be said for that as well, because it's, when you get to that level of success, it's very easy to just go, okay, it's good, don't touch anything. But then you see businesses that do that, and then they succeed for a while, and then they stagnate, 100%. And eventually they come off. So like that, I mean, God, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but like the continuous improvement, it's like, it's a thing. It's like you've got to continuously strive for like, okay, how do we optimize this? How do we improve it? How do we get better?
Well, in my theory that I have, like operating things, I feel like there's always someone coming for you. There's another me out there wants it just as bad as I do. Mm-hmm. He's there. He's there. Like they want it. They see what we're doing. They see our flaws. I can do better than that.
Yep.
And it's true. So that's why every day, like I think about our strategies and what we're doing. I see it as there's like the phrase like the meta of something. It's the most effective tactic available, and every day, every week that changes, because if you're running paid ads, for example, one day they might just flick a switch and what you did last week doesn't work anymore. They might just change the way the algorithm sees your content, and just what you did last week doesn't work anymore.
Which they do constantly.
Well, you saw what happened in the...
I'd just like to point out at this juncture that I have an unbelievable ability to pick places that are under flight paths. So no matter where I decide to film, I'm like, it's so quiet and peaceful, and then it's like a flight path. Anyway,
just a full helicopter.
But yeah, you're absolutely right, man. Like the algorithm thing's something that happens all the time, right? They just flick a switch, they change things. You got to always be on top of it.
Well, I think I think last year in the States when the TikTok ban was coming up, and there's creators out there that were 100% on TikTok. One day it's on, one day it's off. Now what?
Yeah, now what are you going to do?
Exactly. So it's complicated because you're trying to like run a business and you've got to think about a million things about like where your content's going and how you're portraying yourself and like all these sorts of things. But that's just part of the game that I love.
Keeps it interesting,
you know what I mean?
right?
Like these aren't complaints. These are things. This is like, it's like playing chess. It's like,
and that's the stuff that from my interactions with you, I would say that's the stuff that gets you excited, right?
I love it.
Like the game.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
So what were you studying at university before you turned your family home into a wrecking yard?
I was studying film and law. Yeah.
Wild.
I don't
Did
know.
you finish the degree?
I got 3 years in.
Yeah,
I was
right.
in my last year and I
So
left.
you did the hard yards.
No, I got given an assignment that needed to have a minimum of like 500 references, and I looked at it and I went, I don't even know if I can do that.
Film and law, that's an interesting mix.
Yeah, that was in Brisbane here. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, wow.
It's helped me. Like it's
So safe to say then this was not part of your plan?
no, but I didn't have a plan. Like I really like. I never had a plan.
Neither did I.
Yeah, I never
You
had
just
a plan.
make shit up as you go
Yeah,
along.
I just went and did it. Like it was
Yeah.
just whatever. Like there was no. This is not well thought out. Like this is just like, this is what happens. We're gonna just move where there's like either a lot of friction, and then once we get past that, like we know we're coming up against things that maybe others have tried, they couldn't succeed in. Whatever it is, like and then just like keep the challenge going. Like it's just like every day, like those, myself, the team, whatever, we come up to a challenge. I'm like, this is good. This is like, this like less people go here. Like this is the bit where like a lot of people will like turn around.
Yeah, man.
Like this is hard. Why is it hard?
Yeah.
It just is. There's a million things, but
it
push
doesn't
hard
mean
on
that
it.
you can't overcome it. And I know, like, I'm exactly the same in terms of the challenging stuff is where I get excited, right? If I'm at work and I'm like starting to feel bored, then I know that I've got to like take on something silly.
Yeah.
I need that challenge. I need the adversity to really do my best work.
You come from a little bit of PTSD though, dealing with the plasma TV era, though, right?
Yes, yes. When you mentioned that earlier today, I was like, that really stuck with you. Yeah, man, and that's exactly it. Like some of my earliest experiences in my career, and again, like I had no plan. I think I've got a plan now, but some of my earliest experiences, I was like, this sucks, but I kept doing it.
Yeah. But
And
if you
like
didn't go through that,
you build that like resilience by going through things that are uncomfortable, and then now I think about that and I'm like, who cares?
it was just a TV.
It was just a TV. Get over it, So,
You should probably add some context, hey?
oh well, this isn't about me. It's about you. But yeah, suffice to say, my first job out of school was working in customer relations at Sony, and we had a significant plasma TV failure issue 1 month out of warranty. So imagine being one of the first people in the country to buy a $10,000 plasma, and then 1 month out of warranty, it just turns off. I was dealing with those people. So yeah, as what was I, like an 18-year-old? I probably wasn't the right person to be talking to them. I was lacking empathy,
Yeah.
I think you could say.
You're like, you could afford this thing.
Yeah,
You're
let's
right.
buy another one, man. Yeah.
12 days out of warranty.
Yeah, that sounds like a you problem. So when I first came across you was actually when you tuned my 80 series, when we did the FTE conversion on it. So from there, which was maybe 4 years ago, I think it was about 4 years ago that I did the conversion, I sort of, right or wrong, saw you as like a tuner. But you're a film and law student. So
Yeah.
where's the progression? Like from tuning cars, from wrecking cars in your front yard to then tuning high horsepower diesel motors? Like surely there was a few steps in the middle there.
Yeah, well, when it's sort of like a little bit out of necessity as well. Everything you become, you don't necessarily like strive to be that. Like, like I saw a need to have the parts that we wanted to use like proven, and I mean like in terms of actual steps, like it started out with fuel screws on LM106 Hiluxes.
Yeah,
like
right.
that's literally like where it starts. Like what I finished the first like actual decent power I made on a full drive was I had a TD42 GQ that had 500,000 Ks on it. Like it was still tidy, but it had done some miles. And I got a big fuel pump, big turbo like TDO5 18G, made a front mount at home, made the exhaust, like just absolutely just like no money at all, like whatever I could pull together. And before I did the pump, actually, I was with my housemate at the time who still works with me at HD, Brody. He had mucked around with his own car like a little bit, and I'd put the turbo on, I'd done the intercooler, like I just, whatever we could do, we did it. And then I was too scared to touch the rest. I was like, I don't know what we're gonna do next. And he's like, it's just a fuel screw, just
Yeah,
like,
just turn it.
and we did that. We wound it all the way in until the idle was at its max, and then just like brought it back a bit. and I drove it, and I like couldn't believe you can make such a dramatic difference to a car just by like changing that one thing. Like, I just remember like I couldn't stop smiling. I was like, how is it possible? Like, how is that just
with one screw?
Yeah, how's that just caused all that? And then like we put the pump on maybe 2 weeks later, and then that was a 250 horsepower pump that literally made 247 horsepower first run on the dyno. And I just after that I was just like, I couldn't believe like what had happened. Like, I just couldn't believe this went from an 80 horsepower diesel to 250 horsepower in the same engine. Like, did not touch the inside of the engine, just bolted stuff to it. And after that I was just like literally addicted. Like, everything had to make more power. So like, I didn't tune that first pump. Like, I took that to a shop we still work with now, Performance 4x4 in Capalaba, and dropped it off there. Dale, who owns that company, like I don't know, like, so welcoming and so friendly at the time, like let me come in to see the dyno, like be on the dyno, show me things on the dyno. I'm like thinking, like, the service I got from that company at the time as someone like being a customer of theirs, I just remember that experience being so interesting and so like rewarding. Like, just, you know, I wanted to be a part of that build because I'd done so much, and they were so welcoming, and like it just opened my eyes to like what you could do. And then yeah, all these years later, like that was back in 2017, like we still use this company for all our deals and stuff, still work with them for a ton of different components just because of how impressive their service was.
Good customer service, man.
100%.
It's everything, right?
But yeah, then like went back there, he showed me like how to tune some stuff like on the dyno, showed me how fuel pump works, and then like you naturally progress. Like you start, you tune someone's car, like, obviously I went and bought a dyno. That was in 2020, went and bought a dyno. Up from Rockhampton, towed it back, set it up. I was hiring one before then. Yeah, and then you just like, you hear about ECU remapping, and you think, like tuning, you think you're just going to open up, like connect to a car, you're going to open a laptop, like you would with a Haltech, for example. You think this is how it's going to be. Like, you go, oh, yep, clearly that's the fuel, and that's how the booster's controlled, and that's that. Like, no one tells you any differently. Like, unless you go and do a lot of research, you think tuning a diesel is just like, plug in, open, beep, boop, off you go, you know? But no, it's definitely not like that. So I got like an introduction to that. I did a course. I did it for a week, which I found to be like, it wasn't that informative.
So who's running those courses? Is it the ECU manufacturers, or?
It's different people like run them. So you realize once they're done, they're mostly courses, so you pay to use their services in the future.
Okay.
Like, there's enough there that you can talk the same language, but there's not enough there to actually understand what you're doing. So the nature of which those courses exist fundamentally cannot provide you enough information on what you're doing, because each manufacturer, like, you know, Denso, Siemens, Bosch, they all have like different logics of how that ECU works. So the way that Bosch ECUs talk, for diesel and petrol, like a very like torque-based ECU. So there's like inverse tables, and there's so much going on inside that ECU compared to, say, a Denso ECU, where a Denso ECU, like, if you have not spent the time, and I don't claim to know these things back to front, I truly don't believe anyone does, there is no way of actually fully understanding the depth of the changes you're making. Like, and going back to these courses, they don't teach you that there's even really any ECU logic at all. Like, you think that when you're looking at what they provide, like if you just edit these like predefined 18 maps, you know, 15%, 20% here, there, and here, and there, and there, and everywhere, then you will achieve a result. And technically you will, but you're not actually affecting, you know, if you start to add big turbos and big injectors, the logic completely and the math all goes out the window. So then you kind of like, you get pushed back a bit. You got to sit down a bit for a second and be like, how much do I not know?
Yep.
And it's actually really disabling. Like, you feel like, how will I ever know? And then from that realization, that's where I made a choice to become ultra specific. I said, I'm never gonna know everything. Like, we used to tune any car, you know, with the help of others. You know, like, you can't, anyone who says they do it all on their own, not possible.
Not true.
It's not possible. Like, you had to have had help. Like, it's not possible. There's no, unless the manufacturer has leaked a diagram and a function document on how the logic of that ECU works,
which they won't do.
Unless this is the interesting part, because mostly in Australia we're working with Japanese manufacturers, and these Japanese manufacturers have no leaks for their functions at all of the ECU. So there's no public information on how like a Denso ECU operates, for example.
Okay.
Whereas European-based stuff like Bosch, like, as you know, like Japanese are very loyal, you know, in all ways. Like, they'd rather die on their sword, so to speak, than give up the company's information. Whereas Europe, Bosch, some dude's willing to leak a document for 5,000 euros, and now you understand the exact logic of how that ECU works.
Yep.
That doesn't exist for Denso. So, So that's what people don't understand about tuning different ECUs and why you can't just be your master of everything. Now, going and looking at the Bosch stuff that comes out of Europe, which like things like what diesels run on Bosch, actually don't even know anymore. Like BMWs are a good one.
M57.
Yeah, BMWs are good. Yeah, M57s run on a Bosch ECU. Like the tuning for that can be really far advanced very quickly, because a lot of the documentation on the logic of how that ECU operates is actually public data.
Okay.
Well, not public, you can pay for it.
But you can find
it's leaked documents, but you can get a hold of that information, and you can pay for things like what's called a Damos file, which has like the whole ECU data mapped out front to back, so you know every single function top to bottom of how that works.
Yeah, right. So I was chatting to Tommy from Performance Tourers some time ago, and we were talking about the Ranger. And this was after he'd said that the Ranger was the worst car in the market, and I'd just driven which I'd just driven to his workshop because I just bought one. But he was saying that no one's been able to crack that Ford ECU that's in the next gen Ranger.
Now
so
they have.
They have?
Like, so as of like 2 days ago.
Okay, this was like a year ago.
Yeah.
And I found that really fascinating, because it was like a car that's so popular here. It's like the number one selling car in the country, and no one's been able to tune them. Is that because, you know, similar to the Japanese, they just lock it down because they don't want people to mess around with it, or is it IP protection? Like, what do you reckon the reason is?
Well, for example, with the Japanese stuff is not locked down very well at all. It's in terms of actually like getting the data inside the ECU and reading and writing to it. So in tuning, you have a number of different things. So you have the car itself, the ECU, the engine control unit in the car. You have your reading and writing tool that will communicate with the data on that ECU back and forward to your laptop, which is not live. It will, for example, the bit they have the issue with that Ford Ranger, for example, is the ECU. There's no communication protocol between the laptop and the car, so you can't actually read what's on there. If you could read what's on there and then write back into it, there's a program called WinOLS, for example, which allows you to literally tune anything.
Yeah, okay.
You know, so it's a binary data editing suite that you build your own map packs in, for example. So you could literally tune anything. Like,
but you just can't connect to
there's
the
no
computer.
way of reading and writing that data. So that's the issue there. Not that they can't be tuned. It's there's no protocol to communicate with that ECU via the OBD port or bench.
But someone's figured it out.
A company called AutoTuner, I believe, has now figured it out. They'll provide tooling to shops like who want to do that work, and then they can now do that. So yeah, and then what will happen after that is like different shops will get better and better or worse at it. Like, they're just providing communication protocol essentially. Okay. So then it's down to like a shop by shop basis as to who's going to actually understand that ECU structure.
Who's going to blow a few of them up to find out the limits.
There's so many limits. Like, who's going to find the limit of the injection pump? Like, on all these limits can be carried over from old models and stuff like that. So like, it might share an injection pump off another vehicle, and they know that they're good for so much pressure, and you can use it in this way and so on, and then you can use that information to get a head start and so on. So
this is like, it's so fascinating to me because this is the full dark arts. I'm like the guy that just rocks up and goes, "Can you make my car like make less soot and more power, please?"
Yeah. So
thank you.
Your car is actually a different story again, though, because the 1HD FT ECU, there's no way, like the way you would read and write to that, essentially, there's no way to communicate with that ECU back and forward. Okay. So that's why they have piggyback ECUs for those.
Yep.
So you have a unit chip on yours. So obviously with that, for example, the factory ECU stays in place, it does its thing, and then the unit chip, for example, goes on the back of it, interferes like throttle signal, map sensor signal, our crank angle signal, water temperature signal. Like, crank angle signal would interfere with timing control, for example. Interferes with the spill driver, which will change like the spill timing. So how long the spill valve on the pump is open for. The longer that's open, then the more fuel you're going to have up to the injector. So therefore you have more fuel. Timing control affects like the start of injection timing of the actual injection period, things like
Mm-hmm.
that. So, and yeah, that's basically that's a whole different thing. So like,
So we're talking like an ECU from factory that can be remapped, as in you can change the parameters within the ECU, as opposed to a piggyback where you're bolting something on
Yep.
to allow you to change
Yeah.
those parameters, right?
Yep.
Is
Yeah,
that
100%.
effectively
100%.
okay? Well, I figured it out.
And then yours.
I know just enough to be dangerous.
Well, you were tuning your car before.
That is true. Yeah,
You were
yeah.
pressing
Under intense scrutiny. So why is it then? I came from street cars, right, where the standard thing was like Microtex,
Yep.
Motex, or Link ECUs back in the day. But then with diesels, it's very rare, I would say, to see people like rip out an ECU and put a complete standalone aftermarket ECU in it. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, the go-to diesel replacement ECU, like a Motec, that's what can run a diesel engine in an aftermarket sense. Like a lot of drag diesel engines in drag cars that are diesel will run things like Motec, or ECU show up in Thailand, make a whole heap of standalone replacement ECUs. The hardest thing hardest thing a car can do, example, is think about this. Like, you're pulling up to a set of lights, like right before you do it, you accelerated and then the light went red. So now you have to, clutch in, engine drops load, hit the brakes, loses vacuum, and it's got to do all these things while like coming back to idle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like boosters changed, timing's changed, injection pressure, everything's changed. So that's complicated.
Yep.
And very complicated, I guess, in a diesel, if you're going to try and start from scratch. And with those ECUs, you're starting from scratch. And then there's also not a need for like those ECUs in the aftermarket sense of there's not that many people chasing high performance diesel, drag cars. It's not like a thriving industry of like
No.
there's like 40 different teams out there building 6-second cars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
like
can think of a handful in Australia that are chasing big.
100%. So like, if you were to do it, you're basically, it's the same. Like, you can do it, but it's who are you building it for?
Yeah.
It's probably like the economics of it don't stack up, unfortunately.
Mm.
But in the States, like it's common.
And in Thailand, where they have an insane diesel
Yeah.
drag racing scene,
It's
and
common, yeah.
diesel turbo longboats and
Yeah.
all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's absolutely all over the place there. But here, it's just not. It's not. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do with the factory ECU, like if you understand it anyway. So I think like, I would say like the factory ECU solves 95% of the market's demands, which is like a bit more power.
Yeah.
And say like you want to take a factory ECU up all the way up to 400, 500 horsepower on a diesel, then the factory ECU combined with an effective piggyback like a Unichip or an ECU shop product will allow you to get there comfortably. So you've got a certain amount of things controlled in the factory ECU, whether it be like timing, like heap of deletes if you need to get rid of like certain things, and then
EGRs.
certain things,
Yeah.
and then yeah.
Just maybe an EGR or two. Yeah.
And then you've got like the piggyback ECU controlling like your fueling, your rail pressure, and logging of things that are important, like how much voltage each sensor is running, because how much voltage that sensor is running will indicate how much work that exact thing is doing. Like high voltage on a rail sensor is indication of that being run at its limit, things like that. So yeah, that's really like probably why that market hasn't developed as much as it really has.
Well, and I think you're right, because like I look at my car, for example, it's making what, double factory power? I don't need any more. So what would a fully standalone ECU offer me that, like, there's nothing in that car I'm like, I wish it behaved in this manner, right? Like, so what would it offer?
Like there are things that would offer that are better. Like you could get like a more modern interface. Like you could have like really good data.
Okay.
Like, you could communicate to the engine better than you could the way it is right now. You could add things like, if you couldn't add cruise control, like you could add that, but you obviously can do that on your car. You could add things like OBD, like better, again, that just comes down to data really. Data is the best thing you can
So
get.
is that like when you see like a lot of the petrol cars running Haltech dashes? Is that what you're talking about? Like the Haltech's providing you with all of that data?
That's more like user data.
Okay.
I'm talking about more like tuning data. So like
right.
it actually matters like how long you're injecting fuel for example. And if you could actually read accurately and get like a really quick refresh of data from the ECU as to like that injection cycle, like you want to cut off injection at some point obviously, and without knowing that exact piece of information, a lot of people are just guessing.
Yep.
So when you have, and like, I'm not excluded, like, I say a lot of people, I don't have any secret, you know what I mean? Like, recipe there, but like there's a lot of guessing going on. So getting an aftermarket ECU in that sense will give the tuner data, and more data, the further you can push something, the better result you can achieve. And for example, like with your car, like cleaning up fuel down low, you can really target that area in a 3D way, like the way we do it with the Unichip, for example, by limiting map sensor voltage, as it sort of showed you the correlation between like your idle voltage and what we're targeting and how it will ramp in fuel. You could technically start reducing it beyond what it is on the factory ECU, because at 2.2 volts, that's like an atmospheric pressure. If we start reducing below that, the car is going to start thinking it's at a higher altitude. Say we go down to 2 volts, it might think it's a certain altitude, it might run at a different timing map, and therefore it's got less fuel, but now it's running a different timing map, for example. I don't know that, but like just as an example.
Sure.
So you don't fully get to know all the changes you're making when you're doing it in that way, but if it works, there's an argument for both. Like if it works, it works, you know, and it works. So. And
then I suppose the experience builds. You're like, well, I did this last time, and you know, then you can use a map as a reference and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So this morning we went for a drive in my car because, as you quite rightly pointed out, it was
a bit smoky.
It was a bit sooty. So why is it this morning we tuned the car on the street and not the dyno?
Well, we weren't chasing maximum horsepower on the street, so...
Apart from the fact that there was already a car on the dyno that you didn't want to move, because I know that's the real reason.
Well, so cars behave differently on the dyno to how they do on the street. So there's products that look amazing on the dyno. Like incredible, like you look at that, arguably that's a superior performing product, because look at what it did on the dyno. But then you go and put a car on the street and it may not behave that way. So street tuning, where you can for certain points in a street driven car, is really important, because by all means, I'm sure when your car was on the dyno, the AFR would not have been so rich that it was rolling coal.
Yeah.
But when you go and drive on the road and you spend most of your time between 1,000 and 2,000 RPM and you change gear and it's back to 1,200 and you put your foot back down, and like you're not going to be able to replicate that on the dyno. Effectively, like you can literally hold the dyno there and put your foot flat and box by box go up, but it's still not how you really drive. So to go and tune the bottom, you know, the first 1,000 to 2,000 RPM of your car on the street where it's safe, like you're not doing 160 k's an hour, and you know, like it's not going to affect the max load AFR, that's really why you would focus on street tuning in that regard.
So what you did this morning then, you're able to clean up the bottom end but still have the top end power?
Yeah, we didn't change that at all.
The
top end is still the same. We're really focusing on everything below 2,000.
Well, yeah, that was really interesting to see for someone who's not technically minded whatsoever, but I could, you know, with your help explaining it, understand what you were doing, and it was amazing. Like you can see
happening in front of you.
You can see it happening in front of you. It's like, hey, it's not, I can see the car behind me now. It's not, you know, in a cloud of black smoke.
Cars change as well, man. Like I don't believe it was that smoky the first time it left my hands, for example. Like
it wasn't.
So like cars change. Like,
but we've changed exhaust, intake, intercooler.
Yep.
It's had 3 turbos on it since then. Like that, we've changed so many different things, right?
Cars change. So like they change, like they wear. Like that was like you had like 70,000 k's on the engine or something. It was
5,000. Yeah, and I've done another, I think 85 or 90,000 since then. So yeah,
things change,
and it's done a lot of hard work in that time too.
And a lot of gearboxes.
A lot of gearboxes. A lot of gearboxes, a lot of diffs, one lifted head. Yeah.
She'll be right.
Don't worry about it. So this is something that I find really interesting. Now, I can see, like, we were at the Dobinson's King of the Strip event recently. We were both there together. And, like, I'm aware that there is a four-wheel drive performance community.
Yeah.
But then you see an event like that, and you're like, okay, there's another level to this, right?
Yep.
Is that, in your opinion, something that's developing quite rapidly? Like, was that four-wheel drive performance scene always there and I just wasn't aware of it?
I reckon it is at one of its infant stages of what is to become potentially like one of the biggest industries for performance in this country. Like, you know, as in like reaching the most amount of people. I think that having the high performance petrol stuff, it's literally from the day dot, it's always been there.
Yep.
Diesel's kind of only just got this start in being able to be controlled in like or even to be able to put the two words in one sentence, diesel and high performance.
Yeah.
Like before that it was all like mechanical pumps and 300 to 500 horsepower, and that was still impressive.
Yep.
But now you have things like common rails, you have aftermarket ECUs, you have so much development going on with injection systems, and so much going on in development of like piston design. Like we just don't know enough yet for it to have really started to flourish. But like in terms of like affecting the most amount of people, like literally anyone driving a diesel can benefit from like the work that goes in on racetracks and things like that.
Yeah.
Because it will come back down and make more efficient vehicles like for end users. So I think that the componentry and the parts and the whole industry is, in terms of diesel racing, is at like a very, very early stage. Like people have only just got their head around a lot of this stuff and how it works.
Yeah, particularly in Australia, right?
100%, yeah. And we literally, it exists in the sense of like, for the past 10 years there's been diesel drag racing at drag strips, but it's like, it's always a free event. So like,
Yeah. You get what you
know
get.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's a free event. To run your car on a racetrack for free, that's awesome. It's insane actually. But it's like, you can see a car do like, a Japanese diesel run like a 12 to 15 second was like good. You know, like I ran a 14.2 or something in my GQ shorty, and that was pretty cool. You know, that felt tough. But like that's a car with like all the bolt-ons that ran a 14.2, and then I took my Hilux workmate and just tuned it with injectors, and it does pretty much the same time.
Yeah, that was pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, it's not fast, but it's like
well, you see, it's funny you say that, because I was talking to Ben Dobinson about this, and it's like, I feel like, particularly with drag racing, if you just watch it, people go, oh, you know, it only ran a 13. Like a 13-second street car is quick.
Yeah.
There are quicker and faster cars. But what I'm saying is, you know, like people going, oh, you know, it only ran a 10. It's like, that's a fast car, right? And then you put that in a 4-ton four-wheel drive and you see it running, you know, a 12 or 13-second quarter mile. It's not slow.
Correct. It's not slow. And it feels more impressive sometimes than a 10-second petrol car, because the torque actually does put you back in your seat.
Yeah.
Like the torque actually makes you do that. Every time you shift, it's like that.
Well, I mean, from my own personal experience, like when people get in my 80 and they've never been in it before and I get up it, they're like,
yeah,
what the hell is this thing?
Yeah, sometimes I forget, because every day I drive them.
Yeah, so this is what I mean. And I was saying that to Ben, like, because, you know, he goes, oh, his GQ He's like, I only make 600. I'm like, what do you mean only 600? Like, that's huge power to any normal person, right?
Yeah, I definitely forget. And every time I get in like a particularly good car, like some cars just go better than others.
Yeah.
I'm always like, holy, this is actually fast.
Yeah, and I think it's like anything, right? You get used to it really quickly. I think power in particular. I know when I picked my car up after you tuned it the first time and we'd just done the conversion, I think I went from like 114 horsepower in my DT to 300 at that time, and like the first time I gave it a hit, I was like, oh man, this is dangerous. Now I drive around on 350 at the wheels every day, and I'm just like, it's just normal, right?
Yeah, you just get used to it.
Yeah.
But some cars just do it so easily. Like if you look at a 200 series, for example, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because how embarrassing is it that twin turbo V8 comes out 200 horsepower at the wheels?
Yeah. But that's just conservative Toyota being
like
conservative Toyota.
200 horsepower.
Yeah.
Like Kia Rios and like, you know, like
Kia Rio.
like Hyundai Getz is quicker. Like out of the box.
Yeah, but
like,
but will a Kia Rio do 1,000,000 kilometers?
But if even still, like it's quicker. Like it makes like, it's like 60 odd horsepower off probably like most like little 4-cylinder economy cars. It's a V8 twin turbo with 8 injectors and common rail and an ECU and like so much going on. So it's embarrassing that it only makes 200 horsepower out of the box, but tuning them you can get 300 horsepower.
Yeah.
Which is still like, I see it all the time. I try not to like get into the comments too much, but whenever we post something like a VDJ making 300 horsepower, and there'll always be some dude, my BMW whatever it is makes that factory. It's like,
Cool.
good job.
Yeah.
It's like, we know.
It's also not a Land Cruiser.
Correct. But yeah, so it's like, I remember like talking to one of the mentors, like tuning mentors, teachers, whatever you want to call them, who I respect very much, and I was talking about milligrams a stroke of fuel and how much I wanted, and he's like, you'll never need that much. 90 milligrams stroke, bloody the thing will, you know, like, I'm just like, well, we do need it. I don't know why we need it, but we need it.
yeah. The data's saying we need it.
And he's like, all right, we'll do it. And it's like, it didn't even make that much power. It's just not that. It's not that much. Like, you normally run like a Hilux at like 120 milligrams stroke fuel. It's just the fuel quantity limiter, obviously. Like in a Denso ECU, it seems like a lot to when you tell someone who tunes European cars, like, this is what I want. They're like, that's insane. That number's so high. To them, it must be like, what's it doing with it?
Yeah.
You know, what's it actually doing with that number?
And I mean, I've got to say though, like, from my background of like petrol turbo street cars, then coming into diesels and like starting to learn a little bit about that, like, for me in a petrol street car running like in excess of 30 pounds of boost, I was like, okay, that's a lot. Now, like, my car runs 33 pound on the street every day, and I'm like, it's not that much.
Man,
It's just a different world, right, between the petrol and diesel stuff.
first thing like I learned about diesels was like, I thought I was pretty cool because I ran 30 pound in my 2LT Hilux Surf, and I was telling people that like a hero.
Yeah.
It means nothing.
Yeah.
Boost means nothing.
It's fuel, right?
It's and every engine is an air pump, but I feel like more so with diesels. Like it just does nothing. Like, you could add heaps of boost and it just leans it out, which is entirely safe. People definitely get the petrol and diesel thing very confused.
Yeah.
Because you run a diesel ultra lean, all good. Like, nothing will happen. It just has no power and runs very cool. Obviously, they do the same thing to a petrol, game over.
Yeah.
So boost is a factor of that, and yeah, it's completely normal to run 30 plus pound in a diesel.
Yeah.
Like,
normal, right?
It up to a certain point, it comes down to like the turbo giving you that boost. Like, what turbo is it? Like 30 pound on a TDO4 turbo is different to 30 pound on a TDO5, for example. Like two obvious sizes next to each other. It's about like air mass, airflow, like volume of air. Like, it's not just like PSI entirely. So yeah, it's very common on diesels to run 30 pound plus, and they handle it just fine. Like, if you look at the connecting rod on a diesel compared to...
I hope to not look at the rods in my car anytime soon.
Yeah, that is a hot topic for you, unfortunately.
The rods are fine.
The rods are fine.
If you look at the rod on a diesel.
Yeah, it's a lot thicker. Like,
Yeah.
out of the box, it may be, 50% beefier than your equal powered petrol, connecting rod. Just out of the box. Like, the rod in a diesel would be like having a forged rod in a petrol to make, like 500 horsepower or something.
And what is the reason for that? Are they just built to last longer and do more duty cycles? Is that why they're bigger?
They just have to be, because they're heavier duty engines. Like, they run like a TD42, I'll just use an easy one that everyone knows. Like, they run around 500 PSI of like cold compression in each cylinder. That's just like pressure built by the piston coming up. That's not the like necessarily like explosion pressure of that power
Pushing
stroke
back
when it's
down,
pushed
yeah.
back down. So like, if you think about that alone, like a normal, go back to a Kia Rio, they run like 130.
Oh wow! Okay.
PSI of like cold compression. So that's like just the difference in that alone wouldn't need it. If a Kia Rio ever did that, like, it'd be immediately.
Be a fast Kia Rio for a few seconds.
I don't know why I like Kia Rios. So maybe
I know,
I'm
like,
fixated on Kia Rios.
There's a little bit of a chilling insight into your. It's like Lamborghini Aventadors and Kia Rios.
You kind of like crave the simple life eventually a little bit, eh?
I absolutely crave the simple life in most things, most of the time.
Sometimes you just look at, like, people call you up and they say, I want this and that. I'm like, it's like, yeah, but have you ever just driven a Kia Rio? Like,
Yeah, have you ever just driven a stock car and not worried about it breaking every time you start it? Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's literally for two reasons. It's the first thing I try and ask people when I talk to them on the phone. I'm like, what made you call me?
Really?
100%. What made you call me? In two ways. A, I can help them correctly.
Yeah.
B, it's like,
Helps your marketing.
does it?
Yeah, well, it helps you know where your sales funnel's coming from.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well. So what made you call me? It's like, I want more power. It's like, part of me is like, get a smaller car.
Yeah. Take some weight out of it.
But yeah, weights, man. That's like, you know, like going like actual full driving and stuff. I get to do it like 2 or 3 times a year at the moment. But I firmly believe more power is better than. More traction is always better. But I've always gone for more power first. Like my 80 series is on 37-inch tires, Treps with a GU front diff, which is open, and a rear welded diff. I get everywhere, mate.
Yeah.
Because I've got 400 horsepower. And as long as I've got a long enough run up.
And it doesn't weigh much.
And it's empty.
Yeah.
And it does it everything.
Yeah, but you see, this is like the law of diminishing returns, right? It's like with my car, I want it to do everything. So it's super heavy, it's got all the gear in it, so then I put more power in it to overcome the heavy weight, and then I break things all the time, and then I've got a stock TD42 GQ Patrol that makes like 80 horsepower and will go anywhere with the right driver, and I'm not the right driver, but with someone who knows how to steer, that car would go anywhere. So power is fun, but I don't know if it's always the answer.
It is always the answer.
I'm talking to the wrong guy.
It's always the answer.
It's always the answer.
Your car always needs more power.
Can you imagine how scary that car would be with 300 plus horsepower though? Because it weighs nothing. It weighs like 1,000 kilos less than my 80
Yeah,
series.
but you don't always have to use it. You have a right foot. Just don't put it down as far as.
It's not the way it works.
Just do a little bit. Just do a little bit of foot.
So where do you see it going in terms of diesel performance? I mean, you do a lot of Toyota stuff. That's no secret.
Yep.
So like an FTE, for example.
Yep.
Is there headroom for
100%
for way more power and reliability out of them?
So much headroom, and it's like it's the biggest curse ever is getting busy, because like you have all these ideas that you are well within your means to accomplish, but then your business is just busy.
Yep.
And you're just trying to make sure you do good business, because there's businesses out there that have the world's best R&D, the world's best product, like 1 or 2 great products, like whatever it is, but they have no business around that because it's just like all product.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure we're not just like one thing only. So it's, for me personally, the headroom, to answer your question, I know it exists. I know it needs to be done. The access to time I have to accomplish that is a challenge. So that's where, remember I was saying at the start, there's someone out there who might have more time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're working out a better way of doing something we might be doing, and suddenly that might be the best thing.
So what's the answer? How do you create more time?
This is the hard. Well, time. It's not necessarily like my time, because I am an idiot. Like,
not true.
I mean, like, I'm not the person who will be able to give you like a final delivered product. It's all the people that go in together. Right? It's just like I'm just lucky enough to be able to be the place that you can do it.
You're the coordinator of the minds that can bring it all together.
So I know we haven't maxed out a fuel system before. Like, I know that's not been done.
As in a factory FTA fuel system?
Yep. I know that's not been maxed out to its full potential yet. I know that we've not maxed out, like, airflow. Like, you just haven't. There's been nearly nothing done to the cylinder heads across the board. Like, no one's done much.
No.
You know, so, like, it can't be the only thing. It can't be the limit.
Is it again a thing, though, that it's not a big enough market, though?
That is a big enough market, and I don't think that you're necessarily doing it for everybody, but at least you're setting the standard high in terms of like the belief that people have in the engine that they own, if they know it's capable of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You know,
this thing's good for 500 horsepower unopened, with no intention of ever taking it there.
Yeah, like we wouldn't know what we know about like the general consensus on barrows being good for this much power stock would not have been known if, you know, whoever did that build at 700 horsepower and had it last forever. You know what I mean? If someone didn't do it. But I know already, like FTE, limiting factor number 1 is the rods. So if you want to make 400 horsepower, it's the rods straight away. You put a set of rods in it, and then the limiting factor appears to be like how much fuel you can get into the actual cylinder, like, you know, an ejector size. Like, I know for us, we've gone up to a plus 90, and that is technically like capable of 550 horsepower. And then you got to like you look at the thing supplying it. Is the fuel pump got enough delivery? Is then the thing supplying that, like, is it able to get enough fuel up to it? So on. Like, you just chase your tail all over the place. And then it's like turbo side of things, like one big turbo, like compound turbos. I know they've seen like a few builds out there that never like saw the light of day, unfortunately, you know, and there's so many incomplete projects that might have gotten closer to that limit. I've seen nitrous on people like who've been doing this longer than I've even been involved in the industry, like, you know, back in the day, 700 horsepower nitrous FTEs. And
Really?
Yeah, 100%. Like,
wow.
all this stuff is like out there. It's just before Facebook, it just
You just didn't know about it.
Didn't know about
You had to know.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting for me, like, because when you talk about it, the limiting factors, none of them are the block, the pistons, the head.
Pistons, the way, like, I'm no expert on pistons, for example, but like, there's amount of volume in the combustion bowl in the piston, and obviously you can increase that volume by putting a deeper dish, you know, wider bowl, whatever it is you're going to do to increase the volume in that piston. So pistons, like, out of the box, are not designed for maximum horsepower. They're designed around things like swirl and emissions and smoke and things like that. So if you were to take those factors out of the picture and redesign a piston purely for performance, it would look different to how you would design it for a car to just be sold. So again, like, I don't know who's particularly, you know, put much research into that, you know, like, and even still, like, no one's really making, there's no like major Australian distributor for custom aftermarket pistons.
So is there a forged piston available for an FTE?
Well, see, that's the complicated thing with these as well. You don't just go and put forged parts in because they just wear, like, they don't work the same way as you would put a forged piston into a petrol engine, you know. So like, forged, I don't know if that's the right word. I might, as I said,
maybe that's my bad.
No, it's there's aftermarket stronger pistons that are like, will last you longer on the drag strip, but you can't go and just put those into a normal diesel engine.
Okay.
I actually wish I knew more about the topic, but they don't really last the same. I see a lot of delipping going on pistons, which obviously increases that CC, the volume of that bowl, combustion bowl. But yeah, it's not a subject I'm very well.
So when you talk about, like, doing rods in an FTE for 400 horsepower plus, what is the difference? Is it just more meat? Like, are they just a more staunch rod?
They're stronger, they're thicker, they're made out of like a billet material. They're H-beam. I think they're H-beam. If they even are. I've just seen some like solid rods.
Yeah, right.
They're just a chunk of billet.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Man, it's very interesting. I mean, I said to you earlier today, I actually want to turn my car down. I'm not going to, but, like, that's where I'm at.
You or your missus? Missus said, got to go down.
My wife did suggest that maybe I should turn the power down because I can't be trusted. But no, I guess for me, like, in my car and what I do with it, it's already got way more power than it needs, right?
Yeah.
But regardless of all of that, the hood rat in me still wants to see what is possible with FTEs, right? Like, it interests me to see people pushing the limits of things. And, you know, we talked about Thailand, like, their 4JJ1 scene is insane what they get out of those motors.
They run in Thailand an 8-second drag car is pretty common. Diesel.
Yeah, in like an Isuzu D-Max.
Yeah. It's still, you know, put together, like, it's a fiberglass body or carbon or whatever it is they're using. It's not just like old mate's D-Max runs
it's a race car.
runs an 8.
Yeah.
But, like, they do it on, like, manual transmissions, for example. Like, I've seen that. I'm actually super keen. I'm going there in I think December for one of their drag events.
Oh, really?
Souped Up, yeah.
Sick.
So I'm actually really excited to see some of these things. But yeah, it's a different world, man. What they're capable of achieving, like, over there, and I think we are going to get there. Like, we will have something similar here. We just can't. Like, I was sitting at the bakery the other day with a friend of mine, and just, like, we were just looking at what cars drove into the car park. I'm like, it was like Hilux, Prado, Land Cruiser, like, just in one sequence. They weren't even together. So at some point, these cars will trickle down into hands of people who just want the engine out of something and put it into something else, and there'll be some part available, and then eventually it will just...
I see it, man, and, like, I'm old enough, unfortunately, to remember, like, you know, when I was young, it was like Falcons and Commodores. Like, when you were 17, 18, you're buying a first car, like, the fastest car you could buy would be like a V8 Commodore when we were still allowed to drive V8s on our Ps. Now, like, that street car scene, it's like, what do you buy? Do you buy like a Golf GTI? Or do you buy a Hilux or a Ranger or whatever. And so I think naturally, young people coming in, buying four-wheel drives, wanting to go faster, wanting performance, it's going to drive the industry at the low end as well.
I love it. Like I truly do think that the more contribution that other people have into this industry, the more it levels up and the better opportunities like everyone has altogether. Like elevating the whole thing is better than just like, unfortunately the industry is filled with like crabs in a bucket sort of thing. If someone starts like trying to do well or wants to have a crack at something, then it seems like it's a bit of a I don't know, a stretch that they may not accomplish it. People are very quick to shut that down. I think that's, I think we've talked about that. It's a very Australian attitude to have. Don't try too hard, mate.
Yeah. But I mean, we do have that whole tall poppy thing. It's alive and well in Australia. I don't think it's ever going to change, unfortunately.
Definitely, man. But it's funny though, because the more people, it really is. It limits so much potential. It doesn't have to be that you're trying to take over the world. Like I think something simple can often be misconstrued to become like this person thinks there's something special. It's like no, they're just really just trying to achieve
having a crack.
Yeah, having a crack. Like it's not that deep most of the time. Like it's just
and it's also the world is big enough for multiple successful businesses and people, right? It's not like
100%.
You having success is going to negatively impact someone else. It's like if that's your mindset, work harder, bro. Like
100%.
Come up with something. Maybe your original idea wasn't that good. If your success is impacting someone else, you mentioned it a couple of times. It's like surely there's someone out there nipping at your heels that wants to
100%.
do what you're doing better. So it's like, okay, so you can either try and take them down or just focus on yourself and work harder.
Yeah, you can't control the way people are and who they go to and what they want to be and what they want to, like what their goal with their own car is. Like you just never will. Like if that was true, like if one place truly had all the answers, then there would just be one car manufacturer. You know what I mean? Like,
and how boring life would be.
Like people, like why do people buy? Like why is Ford and Holden? Like there's two options.
If there was to be one car manufacturer, it would be Toyota though. Just to be clear.
Yeah.
I gave you the opportunity, but it's like, yeah.
Yeah. I can't see why there would need to be a second one.
No, I can't either.
Well, I mean, they do everything.
It's all right. I don't have any Nissan fanboys in my audience anymore after I said the TD42 was overrated the other day. They've all left.
I'm the opposite. I've got an ad, like I said, I've got an ad running right now.
Yeah.
Promoting the TD42. So I'm saying it's the good thing. Spend this money on it.
Well, I just thought it was ironic that, I said it was overrated as the owner of one, but a lot of people missed that connection and didn't realise that it was a bit of self-deprecating humour. So.
I don't understand what's the issue with liking something. Like people spend your money however you want. Like people are so critical when you promote a certain engine.
Yeah.
Because it's not worth it, but it clearly is worth doing if you like it. It doesn't always have to be just because it can't comfortably do 300 horsepower.
Also, who cares?
Who cares?
Like if you don't want to build a TD42, don't build one. Do something that makes you happy.
It's such a heavy opinionated topic.
Yeah, well, I think the whole four-wheel drive industry, not even four-wheel drives, it's automotive, right?
Yeah, JZRB, like everything. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
It's about opinions and like, oh, well, this is better than that. It's like, who cares, man? Like, it's funny when I bought the GQ, I had so many people messaging me going, oh, but I thought you were a Toyota guy. And I'm like, no, I'm a car guy. I couldn't care less what brand it is. Like, I think, I was going to say every manufacturer, but not. I would say most manufacturers have made a car that is cool that I would own. Like, there's not too many that I can think of where I'm like, their whole brand is rubbish. Everything they've ever made is rubbish.
Man, I didn't even know what I was buying the first one I bought. My first car was an Alfa Romeo 156.
Oh.
$2,000, and I had to mow a hell of a lot of lawns to get it.
Yeah.
A hell of a lot of lawns. But I literally went to my friend's house, and his neighbour had a car for sale. And I wanted a full drive, and it was a Toyota Surf. And I bought it for $2,000 as well. I remember driving it home, and I immediately got handed shit because, oh, you bought an IFS. I'm like, what the hell's an IFS?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even, like, what do you mean? And I'm thinking, like, logically, is that not better? It's not connected? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that.
You don't know what you don't know.
I'm like, but And I'm trying to explain to like my old man who's like into European cars, and I'm like, IFS is apparently not good. He's like, well, it is better because it handles better. And I'm just thinking, like, what are they saying?
Yeah.
Like, why is everyone saying it's not better?
Well, this is funny, right? Like, again, with Ben Dobinson, we're talking about this because it's like in Australia, particularly in like the wheeling community, it's like, oh, it's solid axle or nothing. And then you look at like the high-end off-road racing stuff in the States, it's like everything's IFS now, right?
I just remember I was
Depends
like,
what you're trying to do with it.
yeah, I just had no idea. That's how little I knew.
Do you know how jealous I am that you had a surf? Because now I've talked about this on the show before. My first four-wheel drive was a D22 Navara. And the reason that I bought that car was to tow a boat. It had nothing to do with four-wheel driving or touring or anything. So bad, right?
All bad.
Now, the person who gave me this advice shall remain nameless. I'm still mates with him today. I told him I was looking for a four-wheel drive. He was a drift car guy, and he's like, oh yeah, what are you looking at? And I said, oh, I really like Toyota Surfs. And he's like, no, they're rubbish, buy a D22 Navara. And now, knowing what I know, I'm like, maybe he helped me because I'd probably still own the Surf if I'd bought that. But there's something about that car that I still like.
Man, I reckon they're cool, and I hate to say that because literally last night I was like, what should I build that's a wagon? Like, I really feel like owning a wagon again. And I was like, should just do the Surf again properly.
First gen Surf.
Yeah, like a first gen Surf, like a 1KD and a nice auto, and like, you know, just set it up real, like, just nice.
I am not hearing anything bad about what you're saying right now.
I actually love that, hey. Like, that would be amazing.
I went past a mint one on the way up to Queensland yesterday with like the graphics down the side of it. It was
So
a
cool,
white
yeah.
one with like, it was just beautiful. It was really nicely restored, tastefully modified. I was like, there's something in me. I need one of those cars in my life.
It's that photo I remember from years ago, just iconic, like solid axle. It had like 37s just poking out the guards a smidge, so it wasn't obnoxious. Like sat level as hell, leaf springs, just so cool, the Surfs, man. It's like one of those, like, you know, you get the right angle. You know, when you look at your car, it's just sitting there. It's like, someone got one of those photos of their cars on the internet. I never forget about it.
Yeah, it burns into your psyche, right?
I need to like build one, own one, just to like get over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've got a long list of things like that I need to just own, even if it's for a little period of time, but I just need to get it out of my system and then move on with my life.
But I literally had no idea. Like, I remember when I drove from Cairns, where I'm from, to Brisbane to go to uni, I remember I see the photo on the Surf page of this. His name's Luke, a friend of mine. We're still mates now. Like, I had no idea what was going on. I just seen this. We were all kids. We were like 18. Had a Surf up on a rock, like flex, like this, like just crossed up. And I sent it to my mates. I'm like, see, Surfs aren't shit. Like, look at this thing.
Yeah.
This is
cool.
Crazy.
Mate.
They're like, that's been solid axle swapped. I'm like, what?
I don't know what that means,
Like,
but it's still cool.
How would you do that?
How times have changed.
Yeah.
So where to from here, mate? What's the future hold for HD Auto? Is it more of the same in terms of expanding on like your performance parts, or do you see like a big change coming in terms of how you're doing business?
No, I don't see a big change coming. I see us just working even harder to get better at what we do. I see us working with more brands closely, making sure that like we can all develop products together. So I really see HD as the retail business of the diesel performance industry. I don't see it as this particularly like product heavy innovative development area as much as I maybe once did. I see it as a brand that is capable of bringing products together that will guarantee you results and guarantee you the same success that we have in our workshop. And I'm constantly, fortunately, like reaffirmed of that goal by other workshops who may, for example, get a kit that we supplied someone into their shop on the dyno, and then they will put a story up or even call me just to say this was super easy because they had all the right parts. And I believe that the people who are always fitting parts that, like, you know, we're not trying to cut anyone out. Like, we're not trying to cut like workshops out from doing the work themselves. I just know from doing it myself that the people who are always going to fit the parts themselves were going to do it one way or another. It's just the lack of gatekeeping the good products had to the retail market.
Yep.
So just making the best products available to more people, more freely, with more support around them, so that the people who are always going to do it themselves just do a really good job of it,
Yep.
and they're going to spend money on something that's going to last them, and it's going to deliver and guarantee what they're doing will work. So that's essentially our goal moving forward,
Love it, man.
and has been for the past 2-3 years.
So if for some reason someone is living under a rock and doesn't know where to find you, what's the best place?
Definitely to see what we're up to.
Mhm.
Our Instagram is hd.automotive.
Mhm.
Our website has all our products on it, and you can view your car, your engine, your model through our. It's just like, it's not a generic list of products. It's just everything that's on there is on there for a reason. So if you go into, like, you own a 1HDFT, you've got the 1HDFT section, TD42, 1KD, 4J, for example. It's got its own categories, and then it will break it down into like what year model you have. So that's have a look and see what there is if people are interested in having a look at products for their own vehicle.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
It's been
Appreciate
great
it.
to chat, and I understood 85% of what you were talking about.
Maybe I need to do a better job with the extra
Nah,
15.
nah, all good, mate. Thank you. And we will see all of you next time on the outer side.